Hello there, Section 24. My name is Jeff Johnson, and quite suddenly, out of the sky blue yonder, as we would say, I'm your English teacher, as of this morning at about 8 o'clock. You know, the English department, my English major friends at CLC, an email blipped in this weekend from the dean, Ann Nelson Fisher, who is in charge of the entire liberal arts campus at CLC. She wrote us with some sad and disconcerting news that your teacher, Chris Stark, needs to take a medical leave for the entire rest of the semester, which orphaned 4 classes, 3 sections of Comp 1 and Intro to the Humanities. And the dean has asked me to take one of the Comp 1 sections, which is yours. So I'm your new teacher, and I am absolutely certain that this must be throwing you for a loop. It probably is confusing. If you're frustrated, that's human. I mean, one minute you've got one teacher, and then suddenly you've got another at exactly the precise, perfect moment where we celebrate midterm. I get that. My first concern is I don't know Chris at all. She's an online teacher, and she hasn't been at CLC very long, so I don't know her, but my heart is really with her. And I told her a little while ago, you never know when you're going to offend somebody, but we've had a brief email exchange. She's ill, she's very fatigued, and I let her know that I'm praying for her, because I'm a man of faith. So I'm going to make a better video that introduces me to you, so you understand what kind of teacher and what kind of man I am. But I wanted to hurry to my fancy camera and get some information to you and just get a few ideas before you, so you can start getting your head around the change that's going to happen. It took a number of people with advanced degrees, master's degrees like I have, and even a PhD was involved. Our interim VP, Mark Johnson, Human Rights was involved. And my dean is doing a great job, but she's still relatively new at the job. It's only her second year, so this doesn't happen very often. And our first question this morning and across the day was, okay, how does this work? Are the people that are taking over Chris's classes fulfilling her class, her syllabus, her desires and dreams? Or does it more or less start with a different teacher and different everything? So here's probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you today. You haven't wasted any work that you've done for Chris Stark, but HR has determined, and the union, and there's a bunch of stuff involved that you don't need to know about. From here on out, I'm your teacher, and that means I'm your teacher, and the syllabus is going to be my syllabus, and the dreams for how this course goes are going to be mine for the second half of this semester. So, for instance, there's apparently a comparison and contrast essay due next week. If you haven't done that yet, well, good for you. If you have written that paper already, it's also good for you. You did some writing. So that's kind of thing number one. And if this is frustrating to you, I'd sure like to help you talk you through that. You can email me at jeffrey.johnson@clcmn.edu. You can also call me at 320-260-4959. You can text me and call me at any reasonable hour. I give out my mobile to my students. I want to be accessible. So that's thing one. It's kind of a new start. Let's give you more strange news. I'm not an online teacher. I'm an evangelist for face-to-face teaching. I love the classroom. The good news that comes out of that is that even though I do not believe in online learning, there I go insulting people again, the pandemic forced me to learn how to do it. And that's why I've got this fancy 4K Canon and a Sennheiser lavalier microphone and all kinds of gear that I got with grants and CARES Act funds. So I more or less know what to do. Let's try to give you some other good news. I have a 4.8 rating on ratemyprofessor.com. I'm still reasonably dope, even though I'm getting older. And probably the most important thing I can tell you after the idea that this is my course from now on, I love teaching. I just absolutely love it. I enjoy teaching still so much at the age of 62 that I skip sabbatical. I'm going to keep teaching and talking and hosting poets as long as I can. In the fall, I teach Comp 1s and I teach classical mythology. And in the spring, I teach Honors Lit because I'm on the Honors faculty. I teach Comp 2s, a couple sections there. And I also teach an Intro to the Humanities course. Also, I like to use video. When the pandemic started, I couldn't, and I hope, I'm not shaking my fist at online learning in this way, but I like typing, but I'd rather not type out an entire course. I can't imagine teaching without using my gaze, what's left of it anyway, and my voice, my spoken voice. The silence in online learning completely freaks me out. So I ran here before I even started making dinner for my beloved wife. I wanted to get to you and get this to you so you could see there's a human being here who's going to care about you and look after you. And I know what I'm doing. My courses are super easy. Everyone knows. That's why people take them. So don't worry about grades right now. It's not really not what life is about. Life is about life. Final thing I want to tell you, I want to keep this short. I'm up to 6 minutes already. All my life in school, I've been a kind of a person that's been called on in emergencies. I remember in the 5th grade when Brad Hulk threw up on his science book, everybody ran from that room to the playground. And Mrs. Herder gave me the powdery stuff that I was supposed to put on the barf, and it was my job to do that and go find Mr. Dahlheimer, who was a janitor that never could be found when you needed him. Further on up the line, I remembered taking over AP English in my old life at St. John's Prep School, where I taught for 21 years. And there was a priest that behaved very badly, the incorrigible. I don't even want to say his name. That would be bad luck. I had to take over an AP English class in March, and it was mine for the next 19 years. I remember at St. John's, my phone fluttered one day because a professor had a terrible bike accident, and they needed me to take on a first-year seminar, and I happily took that on, even though it had been running for about a week or so, a couple weeks when that poor guy hit that ditch. And as late as 2010 or 2011, when I was back in grad school, I'll explain that later in my elaborate video, there was a teacher there named Professor Jack Hibbert who had a little stroke. And the English department asked me in the middle of a semester, in the spring, to take over a 400 level class on Renaissance Lit. And suddenly I was preaching to the choir, English majors with tattoos and hemp necklaces, and I taught for the first and only time in my life John Milton's Paradise Lost. And that's the day I decided I want nothing more to do with John Milton. I'm a literature person. Literature is the only consciousness we have. That's going to be a swerve for you too, because the second half of the semester in my Comp 1s traditionally is devoted to studying the lost generation writers, Hemingway, Faulkner, Fitzgerald, Thornton Wilder, Catherine Ann Porter. So your reading and your writing is going to continue, but there'll be more of an emphasis on journals and much more of an emphasis on literature, not nonfiction. I don't have a clear idea what you've been up to. I've only peeked. For some reason, it looks like every single one of you is flunking. It must be the way things are toggled. And it looks like only one paper has been graded so far, but I could be wrong about all of that. To repeat, call me at 320-260-4959. And we have a new Jeff Johnson at CLC, and I'm upset about this. So be sure you write me at jeffrey.johnson@CLCMN. Don't go jeff.johnson, because that's the other guy. He's an EMT, and it's so frustrating because he's getting my poetry books in the mail, and I'm getting invitations to teach CPR. And I just might do it. I just might show up at one of these venues and try teaching CPR, and then just, switch it out and start reading poetry. I'm very happy and joyful to do this. I just had to say hello, hi, I'm here, and I'm going to look after you. Questions or concerns can come to me. They can go to the dean too, but she's busy trying to figure out who's going to cover the rest of these classes. Let's cut this right now, and you're going to have another video coming your way tomorrow. I'm taking a personal day on Wednesday so I can concentrate on getting my head around this. And I hope you open your heart to it in the same way that I'm opening my heart to it. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.